Hi, I'm Max Smith, and today marks exactly 22 years since the 9/11 attacks back in 2001. That's right, it's been 22 years. Let's take a moment to honor those who passed away, nearly 2,000 of them, and those who risked their lives to prevent any further deaths and to save as many people as possible. But now for some real serious stuff, man. Yes, it's good to remember and not forget, but we also should be asking, what was the cause of 9/11? What really happened that day? Do we really actually know that this was going to happen prior to it? Signs show that yes, the president of the time, George W. Bush, had a good idea that this was about to happen and did nothing to prevent it from happening. Now, if you don't believe me that George W. Bush and his administration had evidence of a possible attack happening on this country and did nothing about it, well, that's fine. But do your own research. Don't take my word for it. And don't believe what you hear on CNN, ABC, NBC, Fox News without doing some research first to see if they're even giving you the full story or if they're actually telling you the truth. I would recommend also watching TYT, Status Coup, Humus Report, The Majority Report, Secular Talk, Democracy Now! And we keep on hearing, 22 years later, that it was Al-Qaeda who attacked us on 9/11. Is that true? I don't think so. Because there's evidence that leads me to believe it was probably the Saudis. And they framed Al-Qaeda. Because there's no proof that Al-Qaeda actually did it. There's no proof bin Laden, who was the leader of Al-Qaeda at the time, ordered their attack. Yeah, there might have been a video about it. But did he actually order the attack? And here's the other thing that's very suspicious, man, about Saudi Arabia being the attackers and the ones that went to the flight school is on September 11th, after the attack happened and all flights were canceled the rest of that day and most of the 12th in 2001, the only flights on the 11th that were allowed to continue as usual were Saudi flights. That's right, whether they're headed back to Saudi Arabia or they're flying somewhere else in the country, the Saudi flights were able to continue on as usual. Very suspicious, people. Very suspicious. All other flights were canceled, were grounded. People were stranded. They couldn't get home. They couldn't get to see their loved ones, see if they were safe. If they're headed to New York, no flights were going in or out anywhere except for Saudi Arabia flights. Weird, huh? And another thing, people, about this time period. George W. Bush was an illegal president. That's right. Al Gore actually had won the Electoral College. He won the state of Florida. Therefore, he had won the presidency. Well, then why wasn't he president at the time? Well, that's easy. Greed, corruption, and addiction to money. The Republicans saw him as a threat to that way of life. That's right. Not the voters, but the elected officials saw him as a threat to that cushy lifestyle, the status quo, them helping their owner donors say, hey, what can I do for you? Oh, I'll write you a check for this much if you do this for me. Things could have been a lot different because they saw him as a threat to that lifestyle because he was pushing for climate change action, as well as many other progressive ideals back then. But no, they saw him as a threat. And they think, okay, well then what about the Democrats? Well, the corrupt corporate Democrats who are also addicted to money are no different. The reason why they didn't speak up or say anything about Al Gore being the actual winner is because they're also taking money from a lot of the same donors. And they also did not want to give up that cushy lifestyle. And how do you keep addiction to money going if you're a greedy CEO of a company? Simple. You buy politicians and get them addicted to money. So we may or may not ever know what really happened on 9/11 and what would have happened if Al Gore was president. But I do know this. Things would have been different. And if his administration got wind of a possible attack, they would have done everything in their power to prevent it from happening. He probably would have gone the peaceful route that progressives wanted to go back then, and today still. But instead, we get the same song and dance, oh, never forget, and then that's it. Next day, they move on, and they haven't learned a lesson on either side. Well, that's all I got to say on looking back on September 11th, 2001. And I got a question for you. Where were you on September 11th, 2001? Well, don't forget to subscribe, like this video, leave a comment down below, and I'll see you on the next one. Bye.